Yo ho ho. What is going on, everybody? I know it's been a significant long time since the AFC's Roundtable has been on the air, but we are back. We are back. And we wanted to wait a bit after free agency and after the draft because really any takes before that would have just been smoke and mirrors. We have no idea. We had no idea of what these rosters were going to look like and whether or not that our teams have made any type of impactful change. And now we have our answer between free agency and the draft. And since that has happened, the AFC's roundtable is damn back. Okay. And as we can see, we have the normal partners in crime. We have Tyson, Master at Work, off to my rights, has a new profile picture. Looks like Tyreek Hill's mugshot. Great. Right to my right underneath me is TD Finstock. He is already starting to claim Super Bowl. It seems to be a trend, third year in a row. And then Richie, who I am actually very, very excited to just get a taste of his energy because I just so happen to believe that they absolutely murdered the draft. But we'll get to that. Okay. We'll get to that. But what I want to do is I want to go ahead, go around the table. We will give our opening remarks. And then what I want to do is I want to go around the table yet again, and we're going to grade free agency first and then go into the draft and then just go on ahead and just get some regular takes. But starting off with Tyson, Master at Work. What's going on, man?
Oh, wait, are we giving our thoughts on the draft, or what are we doing?
No, we're just doing our opening statements. So we can talk a little shit if we want to, whatever you want.
Oh, okay, cool. So, yeah. y'all know who I am. Listen, I was thinking about retirement, but my retirement was based on if Brady was going to retire. So Brady's back. The GOAT is back. He's gonna get his 8th ring this season. And yeah, y'all know that's pretty much all I got to say, man. I'm really excited. I'm gonna be returning this season for another year of AFC's Roundtable. And it's going to be another season. I think it's going to be the 23rd season. I think the Dolphins won't win a playoff game, so I'm excited about that.
Look at that. Hey, man,
Good to have you back, Master.
And the energy is absolutely here. We are all happy that you decided to rip your cleats off from the retirement wall. Not so much for Tom Brady. I really wish that he would have stayed retired, but here we are. Okay, you get some and you lose some. TD, what's going on, man? It's been months since we last chatted.
You're muted, TD.
All right, I'm good.
Mike, by the way.
It's been a while, man. It's been a while, but you know, we ain't missed anything. We still the closest team in the division to go to a Super Bowl, pretty much.
Okay.
And win one. You know, because the only thing that matters when it comes to Super Bowls is actually getting there and winning it. You know, all that other stuff doesn't matter. So I look at it as we're all on the same playing field. No matter how much you want to gloat about what you did in the past, everything before today is the past. If you ain't win a Super Bowl, nobody got nothing to talk about. But I know who's about to win a Super Bowl, and it's the Miami Dolphins. And congratulations, Richie. You're no longer in the basement. You're third level now. And Tyson, he can go ahead and move his stuff downstairs. Richie, give him the keys to the basement. And Dan, I appreciate you keeping the seat warm. It's time to take care of it, baby. Dolphins up, baby.
Isn't it funny how Dan, you're up top because you? Yeah, so Dan's in the top in the top left. You were first in the division, right?
Yep.
I'm to the right. We were second in the division. TD, you're third. You're bottom left, and Richie, you're last. So you're bottom. So it's perfect. It's perfect the way the setup is.
That ain't how I see it. I see it as being I see it as being counterclockwise this year. All right,
counterclockwise. Starting at
so that means the Jets are winning the division.
Started at me, man. Buffalo is irrelevant. No matter what they do, they won't win a Super Bowl, so it doesn't matter.
Oh man! All right. Well, hopefully that just
Dan.
paints the picture. Hopefully that just paints the picture of how this episode is going to be today. Richie, yo, man, listen. I mean, I can just feel an energy change in you for this inaugural episode of the 3rd season of the AFC's Roundtable. What's going on with you, man?
First of all, it feels great to be back with you fellas. I missed you boys, and it's also great to be back with everybody in the chat. I missed the Dolphins fans, the Bills, the Patriots, and of course my Jets fans. I missed everyone talking crap in the chat. Missed all the crap talk here. it was just an energy that I really missed. And I was upset that we were not able to do this when free agency was all over, but it's all good because we're here now. And I'm excited to talk the AFC East with you guys. Obviously, we have a lot to break down with all 4 of our teams. We all made a lot of moves in the offseason, whether that's in free agency, whether that's in the draft. I feel like we all made our own respectable good moves. And I feel like around the NFL, the perception is this AFC East division is looking pretty darn good. I've seen a lot of people in the NFL media talk about very highly about this division. So this AFC East roundtable, we're on what? Season number 3. We're going into season 3, which is absolutely crazy. And I feel like this is going to be the best season yet of the AFC East roundtable. That's all I got to say.
Oh, it really, really is. And really just my opening statement is that it has been a long time since we have all gotten together. I'm excited. And one thing I think I'm most excited about is that this division, I feel like, is probably the most competitive it has been in a very long time. I mean, granted, we really don't know how these free agent acquisitions or how these draft picks are going to sort of correlate going into the 2022 regular season. But on paper, all 4 of our teams are very good teams, right? One thing I'm going to say is that if we were all in any other division, some of the weaker divisions, maybe outside of a couple, I think that like all of us would be playoff teams if, say, for example, we were in one of the weaker divisions in the NFL at this point. It's just really how it's all played out. Maybe it has to do with the fact that all of our head coaches are defensive minded. Who knows? But really excited to dive into this. Starting off counterclockwise, I want to talk about free agency first because we didn't have an episode after free agency. So really just want to go on ahead and starting off with Richie. I'm not asking you to go on ahead and list off every single free agent acquisition. But one thing I would love is for you just to rattle off a couple of names that you think are going to be impact players that are now a New York Jet.
Starting off on the offensive side of the ball, I think the biggest free agent acquisition for the New offensive guard from the San Francisco 49er. He was a Pro Bowler. He is now going to be our starting left guard. And I'm really excited. I feel like he is going to be a player that's going to take this offensive line to an absolute another dimension. We know that Joe Douglas came here to try to revamp this offensive line 3 years ago. And when he got here, this Jets offensive line was bottom 5, one of the worst offensive lines in the entire league. And now all of a sudden, after drafting Mekhi Becton, after drafting Elijah Vera-Tucker and signing George Fant in his first free agency wave, and now getting Lincoln Tomlinson is just the icing on the cake to this offensive line that I think is potentially going to be one of the best offensive lines in terms of running the ball, because we'll get into the draft but based on what the Jets did with the running backs. But I feel like the Lincoln Tomlinson signing is so big for not only the run game, but to protect Zach Wilson, to make sure that front 5 is set. And then sticking with the offense, we signed 2 big-time tight ends. They're not flashy. They're not the top tight ends in the world. But as a Jets fan, we've never had good tight ends. We go out there and get C.J. Uzomah from the Cincinnati Bengals, who was a big reason why that Bengals team went to the Super Bowl, not only because of his play style on the field and his production on the field, but it was his veteran presence. It was his culture. It was him riling guys up. If you see what C.J. Uzomah did when Cincinnati, they always go back to that. He was a fan favorite. We also signed Tyler Conklin. So now we have 2 good veteran tight ends that are going to be productive. And then we'll get into the draft, but we added another tight end. And then quickly on the defensive side of the ball, we get 2 starters in the secondary. Jordan Whitehead, who is going to be a player that is going to be, in my hope, trying to contain Josh Allen, because that is a player that is known to be a guy that can contain mobile quarterbacks, going to be that box safety, kind of very similar to Jamal Adams in terms of play style. I don't think he's that level of talent of Jamal Adams, but what I'm trying to say is expect Jordan Whitehead to be a hard-hitting safety that's going to be playing in the box, that's going to be looking after those mobile quarterbacks. And then DJ Reed, getting him from Seattle Seahawks, getting another starting corner. So we revamped the secondary on defense, and then on offense, we went out there and got the best offensive guard in the free agent market, and then we rounded it out with 2 decent tight ends.
Oh, man. Well, listen, I'm definitely going to give my take on the Jets. It's probably going to upset TD a little later. But speaking of
go ahead and hate. Go ahead and hate.
Well, hey, listen, I'm going to save it until after we get into the whole draft situation. But one thing I will say, I'm going to go on ahead and set back on my bias here. And, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I think the Dolphins have had a tremendous offseason. They really, really have. But I do want to hear your thoughts on free agency. I'm not asking you to rattle off each and every single acquisition, but who you think are probably going to be the biggest impact additions to the Dolphins roster this year.
It's pretty obvious when it comes to free agency. Teron Armstead, left tackle, best in the NFL, a man amongst boys. It's not even close. They went and got the best free agent acquisition that you can get in him, and we sealed the deal. And that's what we needed: O-line help. Also bringing in Connor Williams from the Dallas Cowboys, the left guard, excellent player. Been solid for them for so many years. So we're firing that O-line. At the end of the day, that was our weakest area, and we really went into free agency and addressed it with 2 huge pieces that are going to be able to start day one and be great starters. Also, the acquisition of the best wide receiver in the entire AFC. You know, the guy who makes Stephon Diggs nervous, Tyreek Hill, that is the best wide receiver in the AFC, not the AFC East, the AFC. Even though Master Works wants to keep hating on him, that is the biggest acquisition.
Well,
Why?
I'll get to that.
Because he's about to destroy every single one of y'all defenses, and he's about to allow Tua to have that year 3 jump even better than Josh Allen. Because the only reason Josh Allen jumped was because of Stephon Diggs, not because of his skill. But I rest my case.
All right. And so overall grade free agency for the Dolphins.
Free agency, I give us an A flat.
A? Perfect. Tyson, I know that the Patriots had a relatively quiet free agency, but same question goes to you, my friend. Like, I mean, like any type of addition that like you see like being like an immediate impact, something you're super excited about.
So we re-signed Malcolm Butler, the hero, against the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. There was a lot of talk about, why did he get benched in the Super Bowl? Him and Belichick had some type of thing happen before the Super Bowl. When I'm like, why would you resign here if that was the case? So we needed another corner because we ended up losing J.C. Jackson to the Chargers, which honestly I knew we were never going to pay him. Not only that, after the way J.C. Jackson looked against the Bills, looked like he didn't want to get hurt, so he pretty much just tanked it, which I didn't like. So I had no problem getting rid of J.C. Jackson. He did help us win the Super Bowl, so I'll always be grateful for that. But other than that, man, he can go kick rocks. We got Jabril Peppers safety. We needed some safety help. Our secondary is kind of weak right now. It's one of the strengths that we've always prided ourselves on in a passer secondary. So I think he's going to be a massive upgrade. He's a really good player. We got help at the linebacker position, and Mac Wilson also played at Alabama. Also, he's kind of like Dante Hightower and Jawan Bentley. So we kind of have like an all Alabama linebacking core going on with Mac, Dante, and Jawan Bentley, which I'm really excited about. And we got cornerback Terrence Mitchell, kind of a low-key type of move. It's okay. We resigned Trent Brown to shore up the offensive line. James Ferentz, another offensive lineman, who we ended up resigning. And then I think the move of the Patriots was signing wide receiver Devontae Parker. Which I'm loving this move because I remember when we signed Devontae, when we got Devontae, all the interviews from Devontae with the Patriots is like all the press releases and everything he said so far has said that this is the only team he ever wanted to go to. He wants to be part of a winning culture. He's tired of losing and not making the playoffs. And from what he said, even before he signed here, he told his agent that only team he ever only wanted to go to is the Patriots because they know how to win and they know how to make the playoffs. And that's pretty much all and I know he has a kind of an injury history, but I think it had a lot to do with him faking those injuries because he played for a Dolphins team that can't make the playoffs. So other than that, that's pretty much it. I think I really like this free agent. We spent all our money last free agency, so I had no problem with the moves that we made. I'm just happy that Devontae Parker finally gets a chance to win and play in a playoff game. So that's pretty much it.
Nice.
Bro, I guarantee you, Dan Mitchell, they do not win more games than us. I can guarantee that.
Bold take.
Is what the Pats?
Yeah, they don't even have a shot of winning more games than us. Win.
Sure, because Tua is your quarterback.
Ain't gonna be the GOAT this
Who gets
year.
more wins? Everyone, let us know in the
All
chat.
right.
Patriots or Finns? Let us know.
So one thing I'll go on ahead. Like, I mean, I was gonna save this for a little bit later, but this is the one thing. Like, right out of all three of y'all's teams, the team that makes second place this year is going to be the team where their young quarterback takes the biggest step. It could literally be any three of them.
Josh Allen's not young anymore, though. Josh Allen's not young anymore.
Come on, listen, man.
Bills are going in
Obviously,
second this
spoiler
year, man.
alert, I still think the Bills are winning this division this year. I really do. But I'm saying, fighting for second place, I feel like your teams are so similar as far as on paper roster with youth, speed, a bunch of other characteristics. It's all going to depend on quarterback play. That's all it is.
Agreed.
All right. Anyway, we'll go on ahead. We will scoot on over to the Buffalo Bills free agency. Now, what I did want to do is I want to go on ahead and I just want to address the big signing, which was the whole Von Miller situation. Yes, we did pay him a lot of money. And most outsiders, especially in my my Twitter mentions, my DMs, like, oh my God, you paid that old man so much money. Normally how Brandon Beane structures contracts, there's always going to be a way out very early on into it. It is largely front-loaded, and in my opinion, I think Von Miller is going to be a Bill no longer than 3 years, just by the way that Brandon Beane ended up sort of structuring out that contract. I love that signing. I think that even at his age, he is still a very effective pass rusher. We're probably going to lose out on Jerry Hughes. I think that he's going to be an absolute tremendous influence on some of our youth when it comes into the defensive end. And it's finally been something that we needed to be addressed. We need a damn pass rush. We need to be able to get to the quarterback. And Von Miller has proven time and time again, as long as he can stay healthy, to be an impact player on the field. Very excited about that. And I think that the Buffalo Bills and Bills Mafia as a whole is going to be very impressed of how our pass rush has improved going into it. As far as some other offensive additions, Richie's probably going to love this. I love the Jamison Crowder. Love the Jamison Crowder signing for the Buffalo Bills. Was very weird that we ended up, sort of making acquisitions within so the division by itself. But losing out on Cole Beasley sucked, especially once it ended up being dropped. But when you look at Jamison Crowder, as long as he can stay healthy, he's not only younger, but his numbers are better than Cole Beasley. I think he's absolutely going to be a force to be reckoned with when it comes into the slot. And I think that he is going to transition into the Bills offense amazing. As well as O.J. Howard. Super excited about the O.J. Howard signing. Once you account for all of the additions that we've made, not only in the draft, but in free agency, I think that the Buffalo Bills, we might be seeing a lot of no huddle offense because of all the pieces that we can put in. Some defenses are going to be very, very tired. But as far as grades, have to go with free agency. I'd probably give it like a B+. I was really hoping that we would have addressed the interior offensive line issue. Sounds like the Bills have a lot of faith in Cody Ford. I don't, but sounds like Brandon Beane does. But I'd say probably a B+. I think that we ended up making what we needed to sort of backfill for some of the players that we lost. And I think that we ended up addressing one of our weaknesses, which just so happened to be the pass rush. So all in all, I would probably have to go with a B+ as far as free agency.
You're going to love Crowder, man. You're going to love
Crowder.
Oh,
do you? Yeah, exactly. I wanted to ask you about that because, of course, he was so, of course, he was a New York Jet. Was it your biggest concern with him? Was it the fact that he just couldn't stay healthy? How do you see him transitioning into this offense?
I think he's going to fit in like a glove. I mean, he's very durable. If he does miss time, it's for a couple of games due to a little tweak in his hamstring or something like that. For 3 years with the Jets, we got him 3 years ago, and he's been like the only consistent receiver on this team to put up numbers year in and year out, no matter who the system was, no matter who the quarterback was. He was always reliable, and I'm happy. I'm not like when he left the Jets, I wasn't too upset because I knew we were going to get a big time addition, which we did in the draft. But when I saw him go to the Bills, I was like, damn it. He's gonna do a lot of good things with Buffalo. He's just one of those guys that's a pro's pro. He's very reliable in the slot. He'll always get those third downs, and he'll make some flashy plays here and there. But he's not the flashiest receiver, but he's just very reliable.
Perfect. Hey, listen, as long as he can fill in the shoes of Cole Beasley, I think a lot of Bills Mafia is going to be absolutely ecstatic.
Hold on, who's better, Cole Beasley or Crowder?
I'd say Crowder. And so
Are you kidding me?
And so I think the upside of Crowder is a lot better. Like, I mean, his numbers are better than Beasley, and he's younger.
Y'all already trying to sell him. Well, I tell you, he's gonna be trash just like Cole Beasley was trash.
Listen, but what makes me even more excited is the fact, no offense, Richie, Crowder was very effective with the quarterback play that has been happening in New York throughout the past couple of years. So that's
I'll give you that one.
And he still did damn great.
So I was saying, like, no matter who the quarterback was, he was still putting up numbers.
He was still putting up a lot. So I think that he's going to transition like right into this offense amazingly. All right, perfect. The draft. Okay, and you know what? I got to start with the man of the hour right up here. One thing I will say, and so I probably tweeted my most viral tweet ever, and it just so happened to be about the New York Jets. Okay, like I'm talking a shit ton of retweets. The Jets loved me for that tweet.
Oh, I gave you that retweet. My Jets fans love that.
And so I agreed. I thought that the New York Jets had the best draft in the entire NFL.
I agree.
Like going into it. So, Richie, your thoughts on the historic draft night for New York and what you were expecting out of this draft class?
Yeah, so what Joe Douglas pulled off still to this moment just doesn't feel real, just in terms of every time I'm recapping this draft and every time I'm live talking about who we got, it's like, wait, so how did we get the best corner, the best wide receiver, the best running back, and a top 3 edge all in the same draft class? And that's like pretty crazy. So going into the draft, we had the 4th pick and the 10th pick, and we had 35 and 38. There's a lot of rumors going into the draft that the Jets could trade for Deebo Samuel. We knew that the Jets were interested in trading for a big-time receiver, but they decide to go to build through the draft and get their guy in Garrett Wilson at number 10. So first, let's start with number 4, right? The New York Jets decide to get the playmaker for the system that is perfectly made for him. Sauce Gardner is a player that is going to be such a perfect fit for this defense. And I'm not saying he's going to be this player, but think of Richard Sherman in his prime. Robert Saleh grew up in that Seattle Seahawks defense under Pete Carroll, and Robert Saleh was there. So they tried to get a guy that has crazy length like Sauce Gardner does, 6'3.5", athletic, physical, long, and they like their long athletic guys on the perimeter. So that's what they just did by getting their guy in Sauce Gardner. Then you go to number 10, and somehow Garrett Wilson falls to them at number 10. And when the Jets were on the clock, I was debating Jermaine Johnson or Garrett Wilson. I don't know if you guys saw my reaction, but I was like, I want Garrett Wilson or Jermaine Johnson. Please give me one of those guys. And it was Garrett Wilson, and I was excited. We got our big-time playmaker, the best wide receiver in the draft, a player that is going to do such great things, pairing up with Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, re-signing Braxton Berrios, which I forgot to mention the free agency, which is a gigantic move. And Garrett Wilson is a player that I'm expected to be one of those rookie receivers that gets out of the gate immediately, right? Jalen Waddle, for example, last year for the Dolphins, all you guys know him, right? He was a really good, productive rookie receiver right out of the gate. I'm expecting similar things from Garrett Wilson as a rookie, not have those rookie learning curves, just come out of the gate and be productive. And then with the cherry on top, somehow my favorite edge rusher in this draft is falling. And what does Joe Douglas do? He's calling teams relentlessly. 15, he calls whoever team's on the clock decline. 16th pick is on the clock. He's calling decline. Joe Douglas was calling every single person to trade up to get his guy in Jermaine Johnson. And quick note about Jermaine Johnson, the Jets coached him the Senior Bowl. There was a lot of buzz that the Jets could potentially draft him at number 4. That's how much they love Jermaine Johnson. And somehow he falls all the way to 26, and the Jets trade back up into the first round to snag their guy who I wanted the Jets to take at either 4 or 10. And we come away with all of Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, and Jermaine Johnson. It was just one of those experiences as a Jets fan. It was like, wow, these are the type of moves that is a franchise-altering situation where you look back on these moments and say, if the Jets do turn it around, this is the reason why. How many times on this roundtable have I said, even from the year 1 on this roundtable, that Joe Douglas came here to have a long-term vision to build this thing through the draft? All that draft picks that we had is because of all the trades that he did by giving up Jamal Adams, giving up Sam Darnold. We had all those capital in order to be able to draft these players, and Joe Douglas was aggressive and assertive to get his guy. You know what else Joe Douglas tried to do? He tried to trade back into the first round again after Jermaine Johnson to get Breece Hall, the running back, at pick number 31. He was not able to do that, but it's okay because day number 2 comes around. He trades up 1 pick, burns a 5th rounder, gets the best running back in the draft in Breece Hall to add to the running back duo of Michael Carter and Breece Hall. And I think that was a home run pick. And then what do they do in the end of the 3rd round? They get my favorite tight end in the draft in Jeremy Ruckert because he's from Long Island. He grew up a Jets fan just like me. He grew up 15 minutes down the street from me. Jeremy Ruckert has always been one of my guys at Ohio State. I was like, man, well, that would be cool if he's a Jet because, first of all, he's a tight end that is raw. He is known to be a run blocker, and he has just never really got that opportunity in the passing game because of all the weapons around him at Ohio State. And people are saying that he is a perfect fit for this offense. And now he has CJ Uzomah, the veteran, Tyler Conklin, the veteran, ahead of him on the depth chart, and he's going to be looked at as that guy that we groom for the long term. So now all of a sudden, the offensive weapons that we got in the draft with Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Jeremy Ruckert, those are great. Remember last year we got Elijah Moore and Michael Carter in the draft for Zach Wilson. So the New York Jets, what they're doing right now is building this thing properly through the draft. Now, yes, drafts are wild cards. You never know that all these players are going to live up to their potential, and that is all true. But I am very happy that Joe Douglas went into this approach by trading up twice, by being aggressive and assertive and making sure that he gets his guys that he feels like is going to take this next step and take this offense and take this defense to an absolute another level. And the biggest X factor for this entire Jets team is Zach Wilson. Now it's time for him to really prove to be the guy because he has not proved to be the franchise quarterback yet. He has not proved to be a bust in the NFL yet. In my opinion, I think it's a little premature to say one or the other. This is the time. He has all the weapons he wants around him now. He has the protection. He has year 2 in the same system. Everything is trending in the right direction for Zach Wilson to take that next step. And the best part about this is we do not need Zach Wilson to take a gigantic step to be elite in order for this Jets team to be good. We just need Zach Wilson to look like a quarterback that at the end of the year, we can all say with confidence that he's good enough to be a starting quarterback in this league, a guy that's not going to be replaced in a couple years, a guy that's not a bust, that we got the right guy at number 2. He just needs to make a drastic improvement and protect the football, play within the structure of the offense. And I'm really excited to see what this potential is with this offense because as a Jets fan, looking at this offense on paper, I wrote it all down right here. You can tell how much fun I've been having with making my videos. I've never seen this much quality depth on offense, especially with all the youth movements that we got through the draft. And I'm excited for not only this year, but for the future of this Jets offense is something special. And Joe Douglas deserves a lot of credit. And I'll finish it off with this. I am not used to getting this much high praise from the NFL media. I just hope it actually comes away and we're looking back on it and they're all right.
Yeah, and I mean, this is coming from a Bills fan once again. I mean, as far as like a draft grade, I mean, that was A+. Completely A+. It was great. And plus, not gonna lie, super pissed off about the Breece Hall thing. So I wanted Breece Hall so bad.
I know you were always tweeting. I always saw you're like debating with your Bills fans. We need to take him at 25. We need to take him at 25. And
I wanted them at 25, man. I wanted them, and then you guys sniped in. So now we have to go against him rather than him being on. But is what it is.
James Cook's a beast. Don't worry, he'll be good.
Hopefully. TD, what's going on, man? Listen, I know your first round.
My bad. I gave Richie them an A+ too. Just FYI, I gave y'all an amazing off season in general.
Yeah,
respect, TD.
Hell yeah.
Then y'all wouldn't know B+ though, but we'll get there later. It's just
we'll get there later. All right. So TD, I know that your first round pick was essentially Tyreek Hill, but
that's right, baby. The best first round pick in the draft this year, baby.
So, what are your thoughts on some of the newbies that are now a Miami Dolphins? Your overall thoughts on your draft class?
Mine will be a lot shorter because we didn't have a lot of draft picks. But I will say this: we put so much work in on this team as far as position needs and free agency that we went into the draft with very few needs, and those needs were a inside linebacker and just depth in certain positions. And sure enough, with our first selection in the 3rd round, we selected Josh Allen killer, man. The guy who's going to destroy Josh Allen. Georgia's linebacker, Channing Tindall. Most analysts have already said this is the absolute steal of the entire draft. This kid is explosive, amazing, already played a pro-style type defense in Georgia with a lot of other great players. He knows what he's doing. He's going to come in and compete for that starting job day one. And it's going to be exciting, man. He has some speed. he gets up and at it. And they're probably going to put another 5 to 10 pounds on him and let him rock and roll and see how much how well Josh Allen does trying to run the ball now on us. That's going to end. Outside of that, man, a lot of depth pieces. We got Eric Ezukama, the wide receiver, was our next pick. I know people say, well, you already got tons of wide receivers. That's pretty good. But this is the young prototypical version of your A.J. Brown and Deebo Samuels, man. This kid is special. They're going to develop him up, let him get some reps. He's probably not going to play a ton, but he's going to have some packages built in for him to do that role that our head coach, which we don't have a defensive head coach anymore, Dan, just to remind you. Mike McDaniel coming from San Francisco, who's been credited with turning Deebo into the guy that he is. This was his project. This was his guy that I believe, feels that he can get that level of production, and that'll bode well for the future for us. And then our third pick, linebacker Cameron Good, another good edge rusher for depth. And last but not least, which I'm going to be talking about tomorrow doing a show, is Kansas State quarterback Skylar Thompson. Man, the kid has all the intangibles, drafted in the 7th round to develop and, hopefully become a real good, solid backup. And you never know how things happen in this league. I remember he reminds me a little bit of Brady, just a little better because Brady played in New England. But we'll see how that goes. But it ain't much other than that, man. I just think we filled all our holes. And the only thing that we have concern about on this entire team is our right tackle. But we have too many young players we drafted the last 2 years where one of them's going to have to work out in that position. Outside of that, man, I got to be honest, we're kind of loaded. And I feel real good. This is the best roster that I may have witnessed the Dolphins ever having.
It's a bold take.
Yeah,
that is a bold take. Now, as far as your head coach situation is concerned, how concerned are you that this is his first year being a head coach? What's your concern level there?
I have the same level of concern as most would. I mean, Dolphin fans don't. They already peg him the genius of all geniuses. Basically, he's already better than Belichick if you ask a Dolphin fan. But I have a concern. This will be his first time calling plays. He was they did a team effort in San Francisco, but it'll be his first time calling plays, first time controlling an entire team. It's just one of those things you sit back and watch, because I think that's the only thing that the Miami Dolphin fans underestimate right now, as we have the roster that can allow us to compete with anyone. They underestimate a young head coach. And he's either going to be great or he's going to struggle. So, but we'll find out. But I love the staff he put around him. There's some impact areas, some really good proven guys. So that's what gives me optimism in that regards.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, easy to beat the Bills this year. You'll see.
Oh yeah, how many times, man? Once, twice?
No, you want me to be honest, Dan?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to be honest. All right, I'll be honest.
Be honest, man. Come on.
Some honesty here. Let's hear it.
Y'all will sweep us this year.
Oh, clip that.
You can clip it. This is my raw, honest form.
Okay.
But if Tua takes the next step and our coach doesn't, which Tua should take the next step, then we'll split with y'all. I don't see the sweep like everybody wants to say. We'll split. If Tua takes the next step, I am telling you now, from 1 through 53, roster's just as good as Buffalo's. No question about it. But that all hinges on Tua taking. And honestly, in some areas I could say better, but I'll give y'all the edge in some areas on defense.
Yeah.
Even though our defense is pretty good. So right now on paper, if I'm gonna be raw and honest, y'all sweep us. But if Tua takes that next step, bro, and it ain't gotta be like Richie said. Their quarterback ain't got to take this phenomenal step. Tua ain't got to take a phenomenal step either, but he definitely got to take a little better step than what you expect of Zach Wilson, though, at this point. Yeah. This is year 3. If he if I had Tua at a 5.5 before this season, he got to be a 7. And we'll split with the Bills. If he an 8, ain't nobody touching us. So just keeping it real in that regard.
Yeah. And so, hey, man, listen, I definitely appreciate the honesty here.
We'll still win the division regardless. But I'm just, it is what it is.
Okay. All right. Yeah, most definitely. Like, I mean, I would go out and I would have to say that I would agree with your take that if you were to put the rosters together and compare based off of strengths and weaknesses, I would say yes, very similar, except for the quarterback position. And that's just based off of the past. If Tua does make a step, then yes, it's a little closer. But I think the common denominator that puts us ahead of you guys is the consistency at the quarterback play. But
I don't have
we'll
a
see.
good quarterback.
Where does the Jets roster compare? I'm curious now.
Okay, here's one other thing as well. I mentioned this a bit earlier. I probably put the Jets in that situation as well, as far as defense, especially their defensive line.
Health is like the biggest component.
Health
for
is
me.
huge. If they can stay healthy, because for some reason there's like a metaphorical rain cloud over the New York Jets organization when it comes to health.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
And don't forget this.
team is done like during training camp.
Literally, don't forget this. Like, we're getting players returning this year that was injured all season last year. That's going to feel
agree.
like a free agent acquisition.
I will say this, Richie, and I'll be just like I was honest with Dan just now. I'll be honest about the Jets too. The Jets offense, yeah, Dan's right. You could put it in the same category depending on what kind of quarterback play you get because you got the O-line, and some could argue you might have a better O-line than both teams. Some could argue if healthy. Okay, if healthy.
If healthy.
Wide receivers, you're in the mix, but I think both of our units have a better overall unit at wide receiver, but you're in the mix.
Yeah.
Tight ends, I don't even need to debate.
We have a completely revamped tight end room. So
yeah,
like 3 new players.
But they still got to work out in the system. We'll see how that goes. Running game, I love what y'all did. Michael Carter and Brees Hall, I actually love what you did in the running back room. So offense, I'm not making that a concern outside of your quarterback needing to take the next step. But defense, y'all still got work. I know you brought people in and you attacked the area, but you still got work on defense, bro. Yeah. That ain't the level of defense that Miami nor Buffalo for sure has. Yeah. But that's the area.
Safety and linebacker is the 2 weakest parts of this entire team.
Yeah,
exactly. And the last thing before you go, Dan, y'all gonna win a lot more games this year. But remember, y'all are a 2023 team. All of these new acquisitions still have to become NFL guys.
Yeah,
you know, some may spark, some may struggle. You don't know what you're gonna get out of these guys in the first year, but you'll win more games because you got better talent. But they have to actually get in that system for a year in 2023. Man, you might.
That's the Jets year.
You might sweep the Patriots and Buffalo.
Yo,
Jets winning the division in 2023. Clip it.
So hot take of the episode. The Dolphins and the Jets will either have an identical record or give or take 1 game. The Jets and the Dolphins will have an identical record or give or take.
I hope it's something good, right, TD?
Yep.
You think the Jets can win about 13 games or 12?
No, we're getting 14. Y'all getting 13, bro. What are you talking about?
And so I'd say probably about like 11 to 12.
I done been as honest as I could be about Buffalo and the Jets just now. I ain't got nothing good to say about them trash Pats. They are trash. And that's me still being honest. They are trash. They are the bottom feeders of the AFC East now. And y'all better embrace it. Because I'm telling you, they ain't going to win 8 games. They ain't even going to come close to it. Might be 6.
Oh, man. All right. Well, you know what? This is a tremendous segue into the Patriots and their draft. What's been going on with that, Tyson?
I like what somebody said in the comment section about TD is a big dreamer, because the one thing about dreams is you still got to wake up and face reality. So anyway, let's get to the draft. I did not like our first selection. It wasn't that I don't like Cole Strange as a player, offensive guard. It was the fact that where he was taken at. He had a 3rd round grade. But then again, like I said, this is the draft. It's like the lottery. You don't know how these players are going to pan out. So whether he's either going to be Logan Mankins or Joe Tooney or Shaq Mason, or he's going to be a bust. I don't know. The kid looks like he can play. There was a viral clip with Sean McVay laughing at it. Because I guess he wanted him, but we snagged him for him. But he wasn't projected to go into the 3rd round. So I can understand some of the criticism that went into this pick. It's a typical Belichick pick. We did need an offensive guard. I just don't think there was better value to take other players at that especially we traded down number 1. So I don't know what Belichick was thinking with that. I don't know if he has dementia or what. I honestly don't know. I don't like that pick. I don't have the problem with the player. It's just it's the pick that we picked him at. We did draft speed, which is something that this receiving core, this team has been lacking for the from the past few years. We drafted Tyquan Thornton, who I think he ran like a 4.42 or something like that. He had the fastest he was the fastest receiver in the draft. We drafted the fastest running back. The fastest cornerback, Marcus Jones, and we drafted the fastest running back in the draft. So, like I said, number 3, I think it was Marcus Jones from Houston. I like that pick. Like I said, we're kind of lacking right now in the secondary with we got Malcolm Butler back there. I don't think either we're going to have to make another trade if our secondary doesn't look too good at the start of the season, or something's going to have to give. I'm not familiar with a lot of these players that we drafted because a lot of them came late. But I do like the receiver that we took. This draft was very receiver heavy, so I don't really have a problem with the players we took. We did take Pierre Strong, and we know that the Patriots are really good at drafting running backs and especially developing running backs. And he's also, I think he was the fastest receiver also in the draft. So Belichick drafted a lot of speed. We drafted an offensive lineman. We drafted a quarterback by the name of Bailey Zapp from Western Kentucky, I think in the 4th round. I think he's more of just a backup because we're going to end up cutting Stidham before training camp. So I think that's more of just an insurance policy, just in case Mac Jones gets hurt or something like that. So I don't have a problem with that pick. As far as the 6th round, I really don't. Like I said, anything past the 4th round, I really can't really comment on because a lot of these players they were drafted late for a reason. But yeah, honestly, at first when we drafted our offensive guard, I thought it was a really bad pick. I didn't like it, but then I slept on it for a few days after the draft was completely over and looked at everybody that we took, pretty much the fastest team that we took in the draft. Like I said, we needed help, speed. We needed speedster. And I'm satisfied. I think we had a B, C. But like I said, these grades don't mean anything to me because, like I said, these players still have to prove it on the field. So regardless of how great you think the Jets did in the draft, or any team, just pick any team. These you don't know how these players are going to pan out. There's so many busts that happen. I remember last season when we took Mac Jones, people were saying he was the worst quarterback that we took at a draft because he was the last one taken. And come to find out, he turned out to be the best quarterback in the draft, who made the Pro Bowl and was up for Offensive Rookie of the Year. So that just shows you that a lot of these analysts don't know what the hell they're talking about. And we'll see what happens when we get on the field. So that's pretty much my take on the draft, man.
Holy shit! Someone just donated $200.
Dividing this by 4, Dan.
No. There you go. So Cardero says, fuck what they talking about. Bill's still winning the division. Josh is still Dolphins daddy. Jets will be a close game, but we will still beat them, and Pats are trash. But they will be second in the division because Bill is still there, and Dolphins Jets have proved anything yet. Hot take from Cardero.
Good take. I like that take.
$200.
Spend $200 to lie.
Thank you so much, man. You have no idea how much that helps out the channel. Wow.
Salute to you, though, bro.
Flabbergasted.
Cordero, shout out to you, my man.
We're going to talk about what we think about every team, what they did in the offseason, because I got a lot of stuff to say.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Like, I mean, I'm fine.
And it needs to be said. It needs to be said.
Oh, my God.
Dan's got to talk about his draft.
Hey, listen,
see, you shaking your head, but everything I'm going to say is factual and with evidence.
Bro, all you got is time to focus on everybody else's team because yours ain't doing nothing.
Bro, you finished third in the division last season.
And
you
we'll
missed the
finish
playoffs
first this year.
again. You ain't won a playoff game in 23 and 22 seasons,
Did y'all
bro.
win a playoff game last year?
We got. Did we make the playoffs? We made the playoffs. Did
It
y'all
don't
make
matter.
the playoffs? No.
To what end? To what end?
You okay, Dan, give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna recap the travesty and the disgustingness of the Miami Dolphins offseason. Let's see. You fired your head coach Brian Flores. Okay, let's start there, right? You start off firing Brian Flores and you put out a statement. Put me on the screen. I want everyone to see the mugshot of the pregnant woman wife beating Tyreek Hill, who beat his pregnant woman when he got arrested and he pled guilty for it. Okay, let's get to the Miami Dolphins. You're firing Brian Flores. You put out a statement that he didn't win, that you fired him because his winning percentage didn't match what your owner projected him to have. When your owner tried to pay tried to pay Brian Flores $100,000 to tank games, whilst you're still under investigating for cheating. So you fire him. You turn out to be a racist organization when you let go of him. Then you sign. Then what you do? You hire Mike McDaniels, who in his press conference said, "I'm not black. I'm a human being." And by the way, Doug, you do wrong. Cut that out of his entire little video too. So what has your organization done this offseason? You fired a black coach. You fired him for not probable cause. You signed a pregnant woman beating who pled guilty in college when she was pregnant. You got caught for cheating, for tanking, to try to tank for $100,000. What else did your organization do? The Dolphins are trash. You ain't won a playoff game in 22 seasons. Every single year. What is this? How many years have you been on YouTube, TD? 5 years, 6 years on YouTube? You haven't witnessed one playoff game. You haven't witnessed one playoff win. Your organization is a joke. It's a travesty that y'all are even allowed to be in the AFC East. And and the biggest thing about it is, you didn't get Deshaun Watson. I was told all offseason and last season help was on the way. Well, that help went to Cleveland, and you still don't have a franchise quarterback. Mac Jones outperformed you in every level. He went to the Pro Bowl. He was offensive rookie of the year, and he doesn't have an injury history. And he went to the playoffs as a rookie. Mac Jones is going to have a Joe Burrow-esque second leap, while your quarterback is going into his third season when you needed to get every single weapon in the book. All around the NFL, you got an offensive line, you got a receiving core, you got a new head coach, you got a top 5 defense according to you, and Tua still ain't going to win for you. That's all I got to say.
Drop the mic.
Well, I obviously need to give TD.
Is anything I said in there a lie, TD? Give me one thing in there because I got all the receipts.
You said some big lies, so let me.
So Tyreek did not plead guilty for beating his then pregnant girlfriend half to death? Is that a lie?
You said a few things that were a lie. So are you gonna let me address this?
Yeah, address it because I got the transcript.
No. If you got receipts, then you know me.
Her name is Crystal Espinal, and I got the pictures of when she got her ass beat.
If you have receipts, then you know good and well you have been watching me. That's why you mentioned another YouTuber. I have called every single thing that you said out, but you know me, and I told you this in our group chat. He without seeing cast the first stone. Okay. So at the end of the day, I am not happy about my organization and some of the things that they did within the last 2 years, I would say, or 3. I am not happy about a lot of those things that they did, nor am I happy about what some of the players on our current roster have done in the past. But once again, I've already expressed to you, and I've expressed these things on my channel. So don't try to make it seem like I'm one of those individuals advocating for it. But I will say this: he without seeing cast the first stone. Now I'll get to your lies. Okay. First of all, Mac Jones ain't even close to being better than Tua Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa is going to have a much better season than him this year. First of all, he has a much better team around him just to begin with. And on top of that, bro, you can't handle the fact that the Patriots are on their way of being irrelevant from this point forward, okay? You're on your way to not being in the existence of the NFL, and you can't handle that. All that stuff you said at first in regards to the bad things, the organization and stuff, I'm actually with you. I'm not happy about. Shame on them for multiple reasons. But when it comes to football, bro, stop this Mac Jones better than Tua stuff. And then Waddle even clarified the only reason he said that Mac was better than Tua, because if he could help Mac Jones get drafted, he would. End of discussion.
Hey Larry, you said so. You said that Tua is going to be better than Mac. Then why is
better.
the headline? You know
better.
what the funny part is, Tua? You know, TD. Let me ask you this, right? As soon as the Dolphins got Tyreek Hill, what was the first thing out of every single? You want to talk about being relevant in the media? What did the media say? Well, he's going from Mahomes to Tua. And Tua finally get it done with everything that he has. Mac Jones doesn't even have a percentage of the weapons that Tua has going into the season.
Exactly.
He doesn't even have a percentage of the talent that the Dolphins have surrounded him with. And he still is better than him. There is no narrative that Tua, there is not a single media member that will ever claim Tua is better than Mac Jones in any discussion. How dare you even
First of all,
Tua Tagovailoa is 2-0 versus Mac Jones. Why Mac Jones can't get a win for his team? When
you know what's hilarious? This is the mistake you make, TD. Hey, TD, I just want to say one thing and I'll shut up. This is the mistake that Tua Nears and TD makes. They like to compare Tua to Mac Jones, right?
I don't compare him to
what
Mac
they
Jones.
should be doing is comparing him to his counterparts and Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow, who was in the same draft as Tua. And what have they done? What have they done? Oh, that's right. Joe Burrow in his second year coming off an injury worse than Tua led the Bengals to a freaking Super Bowl with a less talented roster than Tua.
You and
tell me again, why Tua is better than Mac Jones when you can't even be compared to the same quarterbacks in his own draft class.
This is where your hypocrisy comes from. You sat there and went on a rant about how the media doesn't know nothing, obviously, when they peg Mac Jones as not being that dude, but he makes the Pro Bowl. But then you say,
draft. Didn't
you hear the media
talking about the draft?
Come on, which one is it?
No, there's a difference. There's a difference between evaluating players in a draft and evaluating players that they have already seen on the field. There's a huge difference.
Tua is 2-0 versus Mac Jones. Okay,
I don't care, bro. I don't care.
Jones is trash.
Brady lost to Nick Foles in the Super Bowl. Are we going to sit here and say Foles is better than Brady? Is that what we doing now?
Mac Jones went to the Pro Bowl as a popularity contest for Bill.
Oh, no, because he's more popular than Tua.
And let me say this too. Bill Belichick ain't nothing but a snake. Because at the end of the day, all of this off-season stuff kicked off because Bill Belichick texts Brian Flores, hey, congratulations.
Yeah, we sabotage
Brian.
y'all.
Yeah, we know. That's all y'all know. Is to stir the pot and cheat. That's all you know, bro.
Out of the words of Devontae Parker. Devontae Parker said, there is no team I would have rather gone to than the New England Patriots because I want to win. That is coming. And he's seen Tua as a quarterback. He knows what y'all are about. Y'all are about losing.
That's the only thing I give you credit for.
Why
is the
third or fourth place
acquisition.
Teams in the division fighting like this? Like, why does this matter?
Richie.
Listen,
Richie.
Are we allowing them to have 10 minutes of our show?
You need to come in the third place humble, Richie.
Why are we letting them take over the show, Dan? We got to stay. What's good?
Yo, listen, honestly,
I got it.
Appreciate that banter. I'm sure everyone missed it. AFC's roundtable, and so the tensions are high, but we got to talk about
I can't wait for the season.
We got to talk about the Bills drafts right here, and then afterwards we'll just go around the table and we'll just do our sort of goodbyes.
Well, we got
Hopefully
to say each other's thoughts about all the teams. We got to extend it past an hour now.
Oh, you think so? You think so? Or maybe
It's the only episode until training camp. I mean, I'm down.
I mean, not unless we want to make it next week's episode.
Let's do it.
Next week's episode.
I mean, it'll be on my channel because we finished second in the division.
Bro,
right,
it don't matter
right.
anyway.
Yeah.
You're going to get
We will
ether
talk
next
about
week, too.
each and every single other team's off seasons and give our thoughts on where they're going to be next episode, which sounds good. Yeah. You know what, guys? Like, there's 4 of us. We're all content creators. I think we're creative enough where we can think about topics to discuss throughout the next.
No, we'll be good. I got plenty.
We got plenty of shit we can talk about. And you know what? I feel like we can go on ahead and like we can really start being creative of different episodes and different topics we can discuss this offseason. Forget about it. You know, the people want the AFC's roundtable.
But Dan, you're the one that's usually missing in action, like Josh Allen.
Hey, listen, I'm back, baby. And so I'm back. As long as we can keep it like at like a reasonable hour, like 7 o'clock, like on Wednesdays, perfect. Perfect, baby.
I'm good with that time.
I'm good with it.
7 o'clock.
Richie's quiet right now. Richie's like, ugh.
Yo, Richie, does that work for you?
you?
And so I'm saying like the whole like 9:30 thing, like, bro, like, I mean, I'm fucking 30 years old. Like, I'm in bed by 10. So, I mean, I'd rather like have full energy and have my live stream at, 7 p.m. on Wednesdays.
I'm down.
7 p.m. on Wednesdays, baby.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go. Okay.
Calendars.
Real fast, I'm going to go ahead and just discuss the Buffalo Bills draft because, frankly, at the end of the day, if this draft was during the drought, if this draft was during to a point where I like wasn't confident in the Bills making any type of moves going on into the season, probably would have been upset. 9 times out of 10, because I really wanted Breece Hall. I thought that the whole running back position was something that has been largely ignored throughout the past couple of years. However, I will step off my soapbox and I will admit that the cornerback room was very thin, right? With Levi Wallace leaving to the Steelers, and then also we have no idea whether or not that Trey is going to be back for week 1. They're trying to be optimistic and saying that he is, but if I'm a gambling man, he's not going to be 100% ready to play and start until about week 5, week 6. So the Elam pick is probably the best position of what Brandon Beane could have taken. I would have much rather Breece Hall, but when you look at Elam, he was the University of Florida's true lockdown corner, and what we needed in this secondary was speed. He ran a 4.39. The next fastest person in the secondary is Trey White, who ran a 4.49. Luckily, when it comes down into McDermott and Frazier's secondary and overall defensive scheme, you can plug and play just about any average DB in there, and they're going to succeed. It's just how they construct their overall defensive scheme. But I do love Elam. I really think that he's going to be a day one starter starting on the opposite side of Trey White. And with Tyreek Hill being in this position and being in this division, I feel like we needed speed in our overall DB room. One thing that concerns me about Elam is the fact that he is very physical and almost physical to a point where he calls for a lot of penalties. So I'm hoping that he can clean that up once he ends up making the transition into the NFL. And I'm not sitting there cussing at the TV screen week 2, week 3, when he is just continuously making the collections of holdings and pass interferences. So let's hope that that's not the big thing. James Cook, loved it. May have not been the running backs that I wanted. I really wanted Breece Hall, as I've mentioned like 7 or 8 times on this stream alone.
Sorry, Dan.
I know. I'm sorry. And about 300 times post-draft or pre-draft, if you will. Maybe Kenneth Walker would have been something that would have made me very excited as well, but we have James Cook, Dalvin Cook's brother, great pass catching back. And in my opinion, not that this is really something that like we can brag about, but like once he ends up being on this team, he is automatically the best running back that we have on staff. He really, really is. I think with the versatility that we have on offense, I think that we have a huge opportunity of going to a true no-huddle offense, and it's going to completely overwhelm defenses going on into 2022, as long as everybody can stay healthy. Is regarding some of the later picks, our 3rd round from Baylor, the linebacker, he's good. He's undersized for a linebacker. However, I do see him making an immediate impact into special teams, which is always something that everyone always sleeps on as far as impact when it comes to any type of NFL team. And then last notable mention, the punt god, Matarazia, right? This man legitimately ended up booting off a 91-yard punt. Very surprising and very ironic that he just so happens to go to a team that barely ever punts. And to be completely honest with you,
but need him now.
Him making this team is going to solely be based off of whether or not that he can hold. And once he ended up making that addition to the Buffalo Bills, Matt Hawk is most likely going to be cut, and he's going to be our go-to. So as far as our drafts, I'd probably give it a B-, and that's being conservative. But luckily, when it came down to it, the way that our team is already structured based off of free agency and the way that contracts are hitting right now, I feel like we didn't need an A+ draft, right? I feel like that we have our team. We're ready to go. But I will sign off with saying this is our window. This is the peak of our window right now. And the Buffalo Bills need to win the Super Bowl this year. If we don't,
wow,
then
trash.
They need to at least get to a Super Bowl, Dan.
It's going to be a lot harder for us to make and win a Super Bowl.
That's crazy, Dan.
You know what's crazy? The AFC is so stacked. This is the hardest window you'll ever have, too.
Yeah, like
There's going to be no cakewalk. I think your best shot was last year. I'm going to be honest with you, Dan.
I agree.
Because this season, it's going to be a gauntlet.
Exactly. I agree.
Josh Allen to work on his coin flip predictions.
Yeah. It's got to be, dude, it's got to be this year, or I hate to be that guy. I hate to be that pessimistic Bills guy, but it's this year, or we're going to have to wait for a considerable.
Dan, y'all might win 6 games, bro.
Oh, come on. All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and go around the table, let everybody know what is going on with your channels this offseason. Not sure about y'all, and so I do know that so there's really 2 different type of mentalities for content creators during the offseason. Me personally, I feel like that this is one of my favorite times because I can pull out a bunch of creative ideas out of my ass. I have a bunch of ideas during the offseason. But regardless, let's go around the table. Let's figure out what we got going on. Richie, starting off with you.
Yeah, just like you, Dan, the offseason is my favorite time to be a content creator, and also because this is the time where there's a lot of buzz surrounding the Jets, especially with, everything that just happened with the draft. And if you guys want to get more educated about what the Jets are doing, whether you're a Jets fan or an AFC East fan, whether you're not even a Jets fan, check me out on Jets Media. Go live every day. Got special guests coming on, lined up throughout the week. I'll be coming out with a rookie profile video of every single draft pick, breaking down them in detail so we can get a good understanding of what these players will be doing as rookies and beyond. And it feels really good to be back with you guys. It's been a while. I love the energy. I love seeing TD and Master go back at it. I miss that. I miss sitting here laughing at you guys going crazy because the Patriots and Dolphins rivalry, especially between TD and Master, it really is special. And I know it's extremely entertaining for all you guys in the chat. And one last thing before I give my final remarks. Guys, if you enjoyed the show, please smash that thumbs up button. Let's get to over 200 likes if you're excited for the AFC East Roundtable next weekend, Wednesday night. I can't even think straight. Smash that thumbs up button if you guys enjoyed. We only have 167 likes. We should be well over 200 likes with over 300 people tuning in. So run up that thumbs up button. Dan, appreciate you hosting tonight. Master at work. TD, appreciate seeing you fellas, and I'll see you guys next week.
What's up, TD?
Off season, I'm trying to get this will be I'm trying to make this the most consistent off season that I've ever had. So I'm going to be providing a lot of content, doing a lot of panels and with Dolphin fans, but I'm also working on something creative that I want to hopefully launch within the next few weeks and see how it goes. So stay tuned. Hopefully y'all enjoy it.
Is it TD Pats Talk?
No, I would never even speak of that cheating team. I only do relevant teams, Master. So
yeah, you're right, because you guys get all the headlines, right?
That's right. We the best team in the NFL.
That's why you're never on First Take or Undisputed.
Super Bowl.
Jets are on First Take and Undisputed now. Not used to it.
Settle in the third place with humility, bro.
Hey man, we're going first place 2023.
So I got pretty much on my channel. Like I said, I really don't have much time, man. I'm working a lot. I'm gonna be traveling for the next couple months, but I'm gonna try to put out as much content as I can. I'm noticing on my channel, the most views I get is when I hate on the Chiefs and the Dolphins. So I might transition at least until the football season of just breaking down the Dolphins and the Chiefs and and their putrid fan base. But yeah, I'm doing Celtics videos now until the finals, until we beat Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals in the next couple weeks. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got on my channel. Celtics about to get banner 18, another championship for the city of Boston, and that's pretty much all I got, man. Matt, the AFC Roundtable is gonna be on my channel next week at on Wednesday at 7:00, and then it's on TD's channel, and then Richie's.
Yeah, and so the topic next week is going to be us basically just making grades of the other teams' off seasons, which should be pretty good. Should be a lot of shit talking. So make sure you're subscribed to Master at Work so you do not miss it. So with my channel, definitely be on the lookout for some of the collab videos. I'm about to be going on ahead, and I'm about to be releasing a series where I call the Buffalo Bills opponents. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be having special guests on for each and every single team that we are playing this year, really just going on ahead and dissecting exactly the moves that team has made and whether or not that the Bills should be concerned about them going on into the 2022 season, and then a bunch of other various videos as well. So if you are not subscribed, certainly do so. We have a lot of exciting things going on over here. All right.
Yo, Dan, highlight that last comment by Snoop Cartagena.
And TD will be in YouTube for another YouTube for 10 years and still not make it to the Super Bowl.
No, that's a bad comment, bro. You meant playoffs.
Shout out to Hennessy.
Super Bowl.
Y'all some haters because y'all know we're about to win the division and win the Super Bowl. Well, I'm telling y'all, when it happens, y'all just don't duck out.
Y'all going to be able to reach Tyreek down the field? That's my only question, TD.
What was that?
Is Tua going to be able to reach Tyreek down the field like Mahomes did?
Rich,
that's a real question I have.
Have you seen your quarterback, Richie?
I've seen.
You got a better arm than Tua.
The one thing Zach can do is reach that far. I'm not saying he's
you know what? I ain't got nothing to say. You know what? I'm just gonna sit at the top of the throne this year, and I ain't
get there first.
As we win every game, I ain't even gonna pick on y'all. I'm gonna leave y'all alone.
You a lie. You a damn lie. You know.
I'm gonna let y'all argue it out because at the end of the day, we just gonna be sitting on the top of the throne, and the peasants. It's not
y'all. And so it is good to be back. Thank y'all for tuning in to the inaugural episode of season 3 of the AFC's Roundtable, and we're looking forward to a jam-packed fun season.
Let's go.
See you guys next week.
Later.
See you guys.
Fins up.
Seasons.